Having established himself as one of the premier Canadian marathon runners of our time, Reid Coolsaet has an abundance of experience with the 42.2-kilometer enterprise. In October, he'll be looking to put his expertise to work when he toes the line with some of the world's best runners at the Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon.
Yeah, so I've been racing a lot, especially since the Boston Marathon. I took a bit of time off, but with Eric Gillis moving to Antigonish, and John Mason's not training for a marathon, neither is Rob Winslow. I've been doing a lot of my training by myself, and so it's just been easier to jump into races. And even if I don't do the full thing hard, it's still just a bit more exciting than having to run all alone.
This year has been a good one for Reid. He's already added a stellar performance at the Boston Marathon and 2 wins at Canada Running Series 10-kilometer events to his 2018 repertoire.
Yeah, so every race has pretty much been local except for the Mexico City Marathon. And I looked on the calendar and it was 8 weeks before Scotiabank, and I would be doing a marathon around that time anyways in training. And I thought it'd be fun to try to do one at altitude. And it was a really cool experience. I wanted to go there and run about 2:25, and if I felt good, maybe 2:24, which would put me in the top 10. But I got sick, and it really showed itself towards the end of the race. Yeah, so I actually haven't raced the Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon since 2011. Yeah, 2010, 2011 I raced. 2012, because of the Olympics, I actually didn't want to race a marathon so quickly, so I paced it in 2012. In 2013, I was supposed to race, but then I broke my collarbone falling off a bike, so everything got pushed 6 weeks back. I ended up pacing there again and racing Fukuoka. In 2014, I was injured. In 2015, I decided to run the Berlin Marathon. And then 2016, same thing again. I raced the Olympics and didn't want to come back so quickly for a marathon. And in 2017, I was injured again. And now it's 2018, and I hope to toe the line.
Like most runners, Reid has experienced his share of challenges. A serious injury in 2017 left him questioning the future of his athletic career. And more recently, the birth of his 2 children have added to the fine art of balancing life and training.
2016 was a pretty interesting year because I was really excited for the Olympics, but I had a little injury going into it. So I was still running as much as I wanted to, but like at least in the last 2 or 3 months leading into the Olympics, but not the same quality. And the Olympics went so-so. I didn't feel great for them. But then, yeah, we had our first kid. We had Louie, and it was things got really busy. And I trained and was able to run 2:10:55 in Fukuoka at the end of 2016. I took some time off, planned time off, but then when I came back, I had a foot injury, and early January, it was evident that I couldn't run on it, and I got an MRI, and I had this bone deficiency where I wasn't getting blood flow to it, and I had to take 4 months off. So I took 4 months off, and the thing that really kind of got me through it was having that Fukuoka race at the end of 2016. Without that, it would have felt like it had been a long time since I had raced to my potential, but having that race fresh in my memory, sitting around, just trying to heal after a few months, you kind of just focus on that. But then I would just think, like 4 months ago, I had a great race, and that really helped. And I tried to run again in 2017 around May, June, but it wasn't quite right, and so I had to take another 2 months off. So I started running in September of 2017. So now it's been a year of consistent training, and I hope now that I've had a year after taking 6 months off, basically, that things will really start to click. Yeah, I mean, hey, having kids is definitely a lot different than, most of my career, where I could just, come in the door and stretch and just not really have too much on my plate. And now it's a bit busier, of course. Maybe the #1 challenge is getting kid songs out of my head when I'm running. They're always playing around the house, cartoon songs and stuff, and they're catchy, and then they get in my head, and they get annoying when they're stuck there. So that might be the biggest challenge, other than lack of sleep.
Reid is a Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon veteran and is looking forward to testing himself against Canada's finest in October.
I think I'm really excited for Scotiabank this year, especially on the men's side because of some of the stories. Cam Levins, who had the Canadian 10K record, is making his debut, so that's really exciting. And you got the returning champion, and you have the 2012 Olympic champion. So I think there's a lot of storylines there that are really exciting. Perfect day for me is always going to be 209, but my training right now is not pointing towards 209. You know, I still have 5 weeks to go, so I'm optimistic that things will improve, and if I can get into, you know, even 211 shape, if I feel like that would make me really happy, and that would be a good race this year. But yeah, I still have some ways to go for where I am right now, but training's been consistent, and I can't complain with where I am right now.